Move this slightly. Good morning. Welcome to another session of Karen's Isolation Yoga. Hope you're all well, and yeah, sounds fine. I'm just getting the signal to say the sounds fine. Oh, and he bangs the door. Yeah, hope you're all well and ready for a little bit more yoga this morning. I'm sure certainly some of you have emailed to say that you have been doing some of the classes that are on YouTube over the last couple of weeks. So today we'll do some completely different work that we haven't done over the last 10 weeks. We'll do the same warm up as we've been doing, and then we'll do a different balance, different standing postures, maybe some different floor work as well, just to give you a bit of variety if you've been continuing with the sessions that are on YouTube. So another nice day, sun is shining, bit of blue sky. So we are just going to get started. I'm going to start again with our awareness, just to make sure that before we get any further into the class, our minds are thinking about our bodies, we're aware of all the different parts of the bodies, and making sure that when we're doing posture work, we're actually aware of where our feet, our legs, our hands, how we're feeling all the way through. So just first of all, starting with the feet, remember you want to feel your heels, the ball of your foot on the mat. You want to spread the toes out and feel the pads of each of the toes on the mat. So just close the eyes for a minute. Just concentrate on the feet. Just be aware of your feet on the mat. Really feel each part of the foot as it sits on the mat. You're not clinging onto the mat with your toes. Remember, they're just sitting nice and still on the mat. And I want you to think about your legs. So think about your calf muscles lifting up through the knees. Remember, most of the time I want to keep the knees quite soft. We don't want them forced back into a locked position. Lifting up through the thighs, we're aware of our glutes, our abdominal muscles, our obliques up the side. We're aware of our spine. We're trying to keep it nice and long. And our shoulders back and down. So we're just going to warm up the shoulders just for a little minute or two. So I just want you to inhale, bring the shoulders forward and up. As you exhale, take them back and down. So remember, it's nice and slow. Inhale, forward and up. Exhale, back and down. Inhale, forward and up. And exhale, back and down. We're just going to reverse the direction. So this time in the inhale, take the shoulders back and up. Exhale, forward and down. Inhale, back and up. Exhale, forward and down. And again, inhale, back and up. Exhale, forward and down. Lift the shoulders up towards the ears. Just let them drop a few times. They should be feeling nice and loose. And we're going to think about the hands and the arms. So inhale, bring the arms halfway. Exhale, spread the fingers and the palms. Inhale, take the hands above the head. Bring the fingertips together. Exhale, lower the arms back halfway. Stretch out the hands and exhale. And again, inhale halfway. Exhale, stretch them out. Inhale above the head. Exhale, back down halfway. Inhale, stretch, and exhale, lower. So we're just going to do it slightly different than this. We're going to really work on lengthening the spine this morning as well. So inhale, again, the arms come halfway. Exhale, stretch. This time as you inhale and the arms go above the head, if you can, arch back and look up. So you're really lengthening the spine. Don't just drop the head back and shorten the neck. Keep the neck long as you look up. You bring our arms back down, stretch out, and release back to our sides. So it's just bringing in that lengthening of the spine if you can without shortening the neck. So remember, you're arching back to look up. You're not just dropping the head back. Inhale, arms halfway. Exhale, stretch. Inhale, this time if you can, arching back, looking up, palms together. You'll be able to see the fingers coming together this time. Exhale, arms halfway. Inhale, stretch. Exhale, release. Let's keep that going. Inhale, halfway. Exhale, stretch. Inhale, bringing in the back arch if you can. Exhale, lowering. Inhale, stretching. Exhale, release. And again, inhale. Exhale. Inhale, looking up. Exhale, back halfway. Inhale, stretch. Exhale, release. Remember, this is about an awareness. So inhale, be aware of the arms. Exhale, aware of the fingers and the hands. Inhale, aware of that spine, neck, all the way up, fingers together. Exhale, inhale, stretch, exhale, release. A couple more rounds if you can. Inhale, exhale, stretch. Inhale, looking up. Exhale, arms halfway. Inhale, stretch. Exhale, release. And again, inhale, halfway. Exhale, stretch. Inhale, looking up. Exhale, back halfway. Stretching out and release. Great. Okay, so we're just going to do a little bit, again, something slightly different, just working the knee joints, the hip joints. I'm going to work with the ankles and the toes as well. So I want you to think about, well, it's also a little bit of balance. For those of you who are not sure about your balance, if you want to go and stand beside a wall, get a chair, something you can put your hand on, that's absolutely fine. Let the weight come down into your standing leg. Remember, keeping that knee soft. I want you to lift the other knee off, the other foot off the ground with bending the knee. Now, some of you might just be able to lift it a little bit. Some of you be able to all the way up and hold on to the knee with the hand, and then you can just lift the knee up towards the chest. So you're really getting flexion into the knee and the hip joint. And then we're just going to point and straighten, flex and extend the ankle and stretch the toes as well. So just be aware of the ankle and the toes. You can even start to rotate the ankle. Just get as much movement in there as you can. It's loosening off. So aware of the joints, aware of the knee, the hip joint, the ankle joint. Remember, if you can't lift it all the way up, you can just do from this position. You can still work the ankle and the toes. So just whatever suits this morning. Just loosening off the ankle and doing a little bit of balance as well. And just release that foot back to the floor. We're going to go to the other side. So soften the knee, weight coming down nice and firmly into the standing foot. When you're ready, lift the other foot off the floor. And again, if you're not sure about your balance, just hold on to a chair or a wall for this, because we're not really doing it as a balance. We're doing it just to get some awareness into the knee, the hip joint, the ankle joint. You're going to be aware of what you're doing. So stretching, flexing and extending at the ankle as well as rotating. Be aware of the toes, so you can stretch the toes out, bending, straightening, just getting a bit of movement into them this morning. All the time being aware of how you're feeling. And release. Great. Okay, so we're going to move on to the next little bit, which we have been doing before, which is the beach ball, moving and then coming into the forward bend, coming up into the tabletop position. So we're going to work again with that this morning. So remember, for this one, our starting position is Tadasana. So remember, Tadasana is that perfect position where the body's nicely aligned. So if you can, big toes together, heels slightly apart. Remember, have the feet hip width apart if you've got balance issues or it's not comfortable to do that. Think about lifting up through the legs, but still keeping the knees slightly soft. Nice long spine. Your shoulders are back and down. You're gazing directly ahead. So everything's nicely aligned. So we're just going to take a minute. You're just going to close your eyes. Take a nice deep breath in through the nose. Draw the air all the way down into the abdomen. So a nice deep abdominal breath. And exhale nice and slowly. Opening the eyes, and as you inhale, we're going to take the arms out and up. You're going to look up, but you're going to look up and hold on to that big, huge, big beach ball that's above your head. It's nice and light, so it's not a lot of weight in it. So you're not thinking about weight. It's nice and light, but you're just spreading the fingers. You're holding on to the beach ball. As you exhale, we're going to do a nice gentle forward bend. So you're going to bend from the hips, bend the knees, bring the chest down, the hands come to the floor. Inhale, lift all the way up. The arms come above the head, looking up to the beach ball. Exhale, folding forward. Nice gentle forward bend. Inhale, coming all the way up, holding the beach ball. Exhale into the forward bend. Inhale to the beach ball. Exhale into the forward bend. And once more, we're going to come up to the beach ball again. Exhale into the forward bend. So this time on the inhale, we're coming into that tabletop position. So remember, the hands come up the legs. You straighten the legs. You really lengthen the body. You've got a nice straight back. You could put a tray of drinks on and it would just sit there nicely. You should be looking to the floor to keep the neck in line with the spine. Your next exhale, we're going to fold forward again into the forward bend. Inhale back to the tabletop. Exhale, forward bend. So just keep going with the breath. Inhale into the tabletop. Exhale into the forward bend. Inhale into the tabletop. Exhale into the forward bend. Inhale into the tabletop. So every time you come up to that tabletop position, remember you're really extending, you're drawing yourself forward with the crown of the head towards me. You're pushing your tailbone away from me. Exhale into the forward bend. On your next inhale, we're coming all the way up to the beach ball, stretching out, looking up. Exhale into the forward bend. Inhale into the tabletop. Exhale, forward bend. Inhale all the way up to the beach ball. Exhale into the forward bend. Inhale to the tabletop. Exhale, forward bend. Inhale, beach ball. So we're now just going between the two on the inhale. Exhale's always into the forward bend. Inhale either into the tabletop or the next time all the way up the beach ball. Don't worry if you're not keeping in time with me. Remember, you're working with your own breath. So just work with the breath, as I say. The exhale's always into the forward bend. Inhale, alternating between tabletop and the beach ball. Let's keep it going, a few more rounds. It really gets us moving, stretching without overdoing it. All the parts of the body start to move and release. Great. Okay, so we're going to move on to our sun salutes. We're just going to do a few rounds this morning. As usual, we're going to start with our modified positions, and then we'll do a round of the full position for those of you who can do that this morning. And remember, you just do the modified if you prefer. So our starting position for our sun salutes is Tadasana. So again, just getting into Tadasana, that nicely aligned standing posture. And I just want you to again close the eyes, take a nice deep breath in, all the way down into the abdomen. This time, if you can, see if you can lift the air up into the chest. Feel the rib cage and the chest expand. And as you exhale, gently releasing from the chest first, and the abdomen last. And again, inhale through the nose, full yogic breath if you can. And exhale, release. Okay. So from Tadasana, inhale, take the arms out and up. As you exhale, we're going to come into that nice gentle forward bend, hands are beside the feet. Step that right foot back as far as you can into a gentle lunge by taking the knee and flattening out to the floor and flattening out the foot. Take the left foot back, so you're on all fours. Nice and slowly draw the body forward, lower to the floor. Forearms on the mat. Inhale, lifting into Sphinx pose. From there, take the hips to the heels, the forehead to the mat. Extended child's pose. And coming back up onto all fours, step that right foot forward, back through between the hands. Follow with the left. So you're back in your forward bend, deep bend in the knees. Push up through the legs. Bring the arms above the head. And release. Okay, so we're going to lead with the left leg this time. So inhale, arms up. Exhale, into the forward bend. This time the left foot's back into the lunge. Right leg back onto all fours. Nice and slowly draw the body forward, lower to the floor, forearms down. Inhale, lifting into Sphinx pose. From there, hips to heels, forehead to the mat. Back up onto all fours, step the left foot forward, you're back in your lunge. Follow with the right, you're back in your forward bend. Deep bend in the knees, push up through the legs. Arms come above the head. And release. Okay, so we're going to move on to full positions this time. As I said before, if you feel you can, if you're not sure about the full position, stay with modified. Okay, so inhale, arms up. This time we're going to look up and arch back. As you move into the forward bend, try and keep the legs and the back straight, and then relax the upper body down towards the mat into the forward bend. Right foot goes back again into the lunge. This time push forward with the hips to start to get a stretch. Tuck the toes, take a plank, nice long line with the body. And then knees, chin and chest towards the mat, draw the body forward, coming either into Cobra or Sphinx. From there, tuck the toes, lift the hips, down facing dog. And step that right foot forward, back through between the hands, coming back into the lunge. Lift the arms, look up, palms together, bring the hands in front of the chest. Draw the body forward from the hips and take the left elbow to the outside of the right knee. Release the hands, step the left foot forward. So you're back in your forward bend. Inhale, coming all the way up, looking up. And exhale, release. Okay, leading with the left leg from Tadasana. Inhale, looking up. Exhale, into the forward bend. Left foot back into the lunge, but push through with the hips. Up the toes, take a plank. Knees, chin and chest towards the mat. Draw the body forward, coming either into Cobra or Sphinx. Tuck the toes, lift the hips, down facing dog. Step that left foot forward, you're back in the lunge. Lift the arms, look up. Palms together, lowering. Draw the body forward, right elbow to the outside of the left knee. Release the hands, step the right foot forward. Inhale, coming all the way up, looking up. Exhale, release. Okay, I think we will do another round. I feel I need it this morning. So we'll do one more round of sun salutes. So inhale, looking up. Exhale, into the forward bend. Right foot back into the lunge, push through with the hips. Up the toes, take a plank. Knees, chin and chest towards the mat, draw the body forward, coming either into Cobra or Sphinx. Tuck the toes, lift the hips, down facing dog. Right foot forward, back in the lunge. The arms look up, palms together, lowering. Draw the body forward, left elbow to the outside of the right knee. Release the hands, step the left foot forward. Inhale, coming all the way up, looking up. And exhale, release. Leading with the left. Inhale, look up. Exhale, into the forward bend. Left leg back into the lunge, push through with the hips. Up the toes, take a plank. Knees, chin and chest towards the mat, draw the body forward, coming either into Cobra or Sphinx. Up the toes, lift the hips, down facing dog. Left foot forward into the lunge. Lift the arms, look up. Palms together, lower. Draw the body forward, right elbow to the outside of the knee. Release the hands. Right foot forward. Inhale, coming all the way up, looking up. And exhale, release. Okay, that's better. I feel as if I'm getting warmed up now. So, moving on to our balance. We worked with Tree and Natarajasana over the 10-week session that we did. We'll do something different today, but for some of you, you might prefer to stay with tree pose. So we're just going to go through tree pose as a little warm up first of all, and then you either stay with it or you move on to Garudasana, the eagle pose, which is the one we're going to work on today, if for those of you who want to do a different balance. Okay, so warming up first of all, weight coming down into that standing leg. Remember, you're not hanging onto the mat with your toe, not letting the hip fall out. Keep the hip up, keep the knee nice and soft. We can come up onto the toes of the other foot and just bring the heel just against the leg and really work on turning that knee out. Bring the palms together, press nice and firmly in front of the chest. Position 1 for tree pose. For some of you, might want to stay there and just lift and lower the toes. For those of you who can, just slide the foot up onto the calf. And we're just going to hold and breathe, just nice gentle tree pose, just warming up our balance this morning. And slide the foot back to the floor, move to the opposite sides, coming up onto the toes, heel just touching the leg, turn that knee out so you're opening the hip as much as you can. And again, just stay in that position if you're struggling with your balance and just lift and lower the toes when you feel you can. Otherwise, slide the foot up onto the calf. And again, hold and breathe. Just a nice, gentle tree pose. And slide the foot back. Just release the hands. Okay, so for those of you who don't want to work with eagle pose, then just work with tree this morning and use that as your balance, or you could use Natarajasana, the other one that we were using over the 10-week session. For those of you who want to try something different, we're going to work with Natarajasana, Garudasana, the eagle pose this morning. So for this one, weight coming down into standing foot, and you really want to bend the knee. So you're almost coming into a squat with that leg. You're going to bring your other leg up and over the thigh, and then tuck the toes if you can behind the leg. So you've really got to squat down. So if I do that from the side, I'm squatting down. So as if I'm sitting down into the chair and bringing my other leg over, tucking the toe round, and I'm keeping nice and low. So I'm not coming up to standing, keep nice and low. Okay, so just try that first of all. You can have the hands and the hips, have them pressed together in front of the chest if you find that gives you stability. Just something that gives you stability. We're just going to work with the leg position first of all. So if you can, you bend the standing leg, you bring the other leg up and over the thigh, and then take the foot round and curl the foot round the calf if you can. Remember, pick your focal point, keep the gaze centered, and release. Okay, so I want you to try that on the other side. You'll find that one side's easier than the other. The one I've just done is my easier one. So this one I sometimes wobble a little bit on, but we don't worry about that. So just bend into that squat, bring the other leg up and over, tuck the toes round behind the calf. At the moment, you just hands on the hips, so you can have them in prayer if you find that this position pressed together, if you find that easier. Keep nice and upright with the upper body just now, but you really want to sit down into that chair. So don't straighten up too much. I'm just going to hold and breathe. And nice and slowly release. Okay, so if you're new to it and you're struggling with that, but you want to work with it, just work with the legs today. Don't worry about the arms or anything else that we get onto as we go further through the balance. Just work with the legs. If it's new to you and you think, I want to be able to do this, but I'm finding it quite difficult, it just takes a little bit of practice. So just stay with that for the next round. So again, if you're doing eagle pose, I want you to bend the knee, sit down into that chair, other leg up and over and tuck it round. Now, if you want to bring the arms in as well, you want to lift up the arm, which is the same as the standing leg, bring it into, so the arm's coming out from the body and then straight up. Take the other arm underneath, wrap it round and clasp the hands together. Okay, so basically you're wrapping yourself in knots, your legs, your arms are in knots. Keep the elbows up, so don't bring the elbows down towards the chest. Your arms are coming out at a right angle, and then the hands are going up towards the ceiling. And gently release the arms and release the legs. Okay, so moving to the next side. Again, nice deep bend in that knee first. Take the hips back onto that chair. Bring the other leg up and over, wrap it round. And if you bring the arms in, so remember it's the same arm that comes up as the standing leg. You take the other arm under, wrap it round, clasp the hands together. Pick your focal point, something that's not moving, hold and breathe. And release. Okay, I was just busy thinking there about how it works, lots of muscles that you don't use in some of the other balances, and took my mind off concentrating on what I was doing. Okay, so we're going to do another round. Some of you might want to take it a little bit deeper, but that's 2 stages. You can do just the legs. If you've started to get the hang of the legs, you can bring the arms in, but keep yourself still nice and upright. For the next stage, so basically again, take the leg over, foot round, wrap the hands round. And this time you can take the hips back further into that chair and then start to lower the upper body down. So basically your elbows are coming to your knee and you're looking towards the floor. Full eagle pose, but you don't need to go into the full position. Actually, I find the upright position a little bit more difficult. So just see how you feel doing what you can this morning. And nice and slowly uncurling. Back to standing and moving to the other side. So just when you're ready, taking the hip back onto that chair, taking the other leg up and over, tucking toes round. The arm comes up, it's the same arm as the standing leg. The other arm goes under, wraps around, clasp the hands together. You can stay in this upright position, or you can start to sink further into the chair. Draw the upper body forward so your elbows coming to your knee. You're looking towards the floor. So slowly release. Okay, so that's another little balance to learn. So just give the legs, if you've been doing eagle pose, just bending and straightening the legs a little bit. There's quite a lot of pressure on them, quite an unusual position. The arms as well are being used in quite a different way. Okay, so we're going to we're going to move on to our standing posture work. So we have worked with Virabhadrasana 1, Virabhadrasana 2, extended Virabhadrasana 2. So today we're going to work with Trikonasana, which is not one that we've done over the last 10 weeks, but those of you who come to my class know this one as well. Okay, so it's a little bit different and it's a little bit more difficult to get into the right position. So just take your time and just try and work with getting the right position rather than going too deep into the position. So take the feet apart. It'll be roughly the same width apart as you use for your Virabhadrasana 2. And again, you turn your toes to face in this direction, but keep your body towards me. So you're not turning the hips to the shoulders, just the toes. But this time I want you to lift the heel of the other foot and just push it back a bit so that you're into 45 degrees. As you do that, I don't want you to bring the hips round. So that's what you feel like doing. As you take the hip back, this hip automatically comes forward. So I want you to push it back so your hips are still square to me. And just get a feel for that first of all. So one foot's pointing the other direction, the other toes at 45 degrees towards, moving towards that foot position. But you're not twisting your hips, okay, or your shoulders, so they're staying with me. And the whole way through that, this is the position you want your hips and your shoulders to be in. They're towards me, so they're in the frontal plane. We're not twisting, okay? So I want you to think about that. And I want you to think about really engaging your glutes and almost tucking the hips under, and that'll help the hips to stay in that position. Stretch the arms out. So we're going to do it nice and gently the first round. I just want you to feel as if you're being pulled towards the side of the room. So the same direction as your toes pointing, you're being pulled, but don't let that shoulder come forward and don't let this hip come forward, okay? So don't go too far. And then I just want you to lower that front arm, take the other arm up towards the ceiling and look up. For this position, your knees are both straight. So if you've got any knee issues, you can put a slight bend into that front knee, but if at all possible, keep it straight. When you bring the hand down, the arm down to the leg, I want your palm facing towards me. I don't want you holding on to the leg. That's not the point of this. The point is you're going to maintain that position using these core muscles. So palm towards me, other arm up towards the ceiling, and you're looking up. So the whole time, get that idea of keeping those hips tucked under. So your hips are still running along the length of the mat. Your shoulders are are one on top of the other, so that shoulder's not dipping. You shouldn't be able to see this arm as you look up. Sorry, before you look up. So once you look up, obviously you'll see your arm. But if this shoulder's coming forward and you're looking towards me, you'll be able to see that arm. You don't want to really lift it up, open the chest and rotate the upper body. And inhale, coming back up to standing. So just lower the arms for a minute. So as you do that, just bring your toes back towards me, but bring the heels slightly in. So your feet are angled out slightly. We're going to come into goddess squat. So for that, bring the hands together first of all, just to give yourself a bit of stability. Take the hips back as if you're sitting into a chair. And then I want you to widen the arms and press the thumb and the first finger together into mudra position. Goddess pose. So just hold and breathe. Be a goddess. And pushing back up. So straighten your feet up so they're coming straight towards me first of all. And then turn this foot, the toes in this face in this direction this time. Remember, not bringing that hip round. We're going to lift that back heel, push it out again without the hip coming round. Straighten the arms out. Feel as if you're being drawn towards that the side of the room that your toes pointing to. And then just lower that hand down to the palms facing knee against the leg. Other arm up towards the ceiling and look along that arm up towards the ceiling. Remember, you're really rotating that upper body. So you're almost trying to turn the chest up towards the ceiling. All the time, keeping the hips tucked under. So don't let those hips stick out. Tuck under, lift up, hold and breathe. And inhale, coming back up to standing. Toes towards me. Okay. It's quite a strong position, so we're not going to hold for too long this morning because we've not done this one for quite a while, and I can certainly feel it because it's not one that I've obviously practiced for a little while. So we're going to move back to the first side. So turning the foot facing this direction, lift that back heel, take it back. So really engage the glutes. So you're tucking the hips under, you're really holding in to keep the hips in that position. The abdomen's facing towards me, chest towards me, stretch out the arms. So this time as you get pulled out, sticking, so as soon as that bottom starts to come out, come back a little bit, okay, and then just lower the hand, lift the other arm up towards the ceiling and work on rotating that chest. So some of you know can go deeper, that's absolutely fine. You can start to come down, but as soon as you feel the hips start to twist and the bottom start to stick out, you've gone into a completely different position. So don't jeopardize the position by trying to go too deep into it. I'd rather you lift it up a little bit, but we're in the right position. So remember, if you're looking towards me, you shouldn't be able to see your arm. You can only see your arm if you look up because it's going directly up towards the ceiling. And inhale, coming back up, toes towards me, and then just draw the heels in. Arms together, hips back into that chair, and then spread the arms out. Hands into mudra, into the goddess. And inhale, pushing back up. So we're going to go to the opposite side with our Trikonasana. So turning the toes to face side of the room. Remember, you're lifting that heel and pushing it out, but you're not twisting through the hips. You're tucking the hips under, keeping the hips square to me. Stretch the arms out. This time again, be drawn as far as you can without jeopardizing that hip position. When you've gone as far as you can, the hand comes down, it goes up, and you'll look up towards the ceiling. Hips are under, rotating the upper body as if you're trying to lift the chest round and open the heart up towards the ceiling. And inhale, coming back up to sun. Nose towards me. This time we're just going to come in and come into a wide-legged forward bend, just to give us just a little release for a few moments. So coming into the forward bend, relaxing the upper body down towards the floor. It's really good for stretching out the lower back. It also gives the hips a little bit of a stretch because they've been doing some quite strong work in Trikonasana. So just relax, release. A little bend in the knees, push up through the legs. Back up to standing, bring the legs together. You can just give your arms and your legs a little bit of a shake. And I think we'll try and do one more round of Trikonasana. As I say, it is quite a different position from the ones we've been using, and it's quite a different position for the hips. So just be careful what you're doing. Be aware that you've not done it for quite some time, or some of you might never have done it at all. And just work with what you can this morning. So feet apart again. If you feel you can go a little bit deeper, you can always take a slightly wider stance. Turning the foot in this direction, hips are tucked under, lift that back heel, push it back. Don't let the hips come around. Stretch the arms out. Feel as if you're being drawn towards the side of the room. Go as far as you can without letting those hips come out, and then this hip bone comes forward. That's what we don't want. Lower the hand, look up towards the ceiling. Once you're in the position, you might find, oh, I can go a little bit further down. I've got a feel for this. My hip's not coming forward. I'm keeping my chest open. I can look up towards the ceiling. It's feeling good. So just slide that hand a little bit further down the leg if you can, keeping that position. Inhale, coming back up. Nose towards me. Bring the heels in slightly. Moving into the goddess squat. And inhale, pushing back up. So we're going to move to the other side with Trikonasana. Turning the toes, take that heel back. Try and keep the legs nice and straight unless you get any knee issues. Put a slight bend in the front knee, otherwise nice and straight. Hips towards me, stretch out the arms. As if you're being drawn as far as you can go. Lower that hand so that the palm's facing me. Other one up towards the ceiling. Once you're in the position, you might find you can go a little bit deeper. And coming back up to standing. Toes back towards me. Bring the arms above the head. I'm going to come into that wide-legged forward bend. So draw the body forward from the hips. Lowering down, and then relax the upper body towards the floor. In the knees, coming back up to standing. Okay, so we're going to do one more squat. So you can use the goddess squat that you've just been doing. Or for those of you who can squat all the way down to the floor, then we're going to do that this morning. So palms together. Do the hips back as if you're going into a chair. Bend the knees, and if you can, come all the way down into a full squat position. Use your elbows to push the knees out, so to keep you in that position, and hold and breathe. Otherwise, just do another goddess, the one that we've been doing along with Trikonasana. And nice and slowly pushing all the way back up. Can't quite make that without using my hands this morning. It's not good. Okay, so we're coming down to sitting on the mat now. Coming down to sitting, I'm just going to work with a little sequence of forward bends just to get that forward bend work continuing. This time I want you to take the legs as wide apart as you can, legs nice and straight, but as wide apart as you can, and the toes are pointing up towards the ceiling. Inhale, bring the hands above the head. So remember, whenever we're sitting, we're on those sitting bones and we're lengthening the spine. So we're not collapsing here at the waist. Lift up onto the sitting bones, nice long spine, arms above the head. So as you exhale, I want you to fold forward along the right leg. Inhale, lift back up to center, and exhale, fold along the left leg. Inhale, back to center. Exhale, folding. Inhale, lifting. Exhale, folding. So I'm going to keep this going just for a few breaths more, just to get it stretched out. Every time you come back to center, really lengthen that spine. Keep the length. Remember, you're trying to take your nose to your ankle to draw yourself as far along the leg as you can. Same as we were doing in the previous weeks, even if it was a slightly different forward bend. So you should find that as you go through this, you'll start to be able to draw yourself further along the leg as the muscles start to stretch and warm. This time as you come back to center, again as we exhale, we're going to fold along that right leg. But then I just want you to draw the body forward, coming all the way across to the right leg. So you're not coming back up. And then we're going to come back up. Inhale, exhale down towards the right ankle, and then draw the body all the way across to the other leg. And inhale back up. And again, exhale, fold forward, draw the body across. Inhale back up. And again, exhale, fold. Draw the body all the way across to the other foot. Inhale, lift. Okay, so we're going to reverse the direction. So exhale, lowering, I think it's over your left leg this time. Draw the body across the right foot. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. Draw, lift. And again, exhale, lower. Draw the body across and lift. Take the arms down, behind the hips. Inhale, lift the chest up towards the ceiling, push the shoulders back and down, lengthen the neck and look up. Really nice stretch across the chest, giving that stretch through the legs. And come back up to sitting, draw the knees into the chest, and then just wrap the arms around the shins and lower your forehead to your knees. So it's just a sitting version of child's pose, just a restful position. And release. Okay, so we're going to come up onto all fours to begin with. We're going to have quite a few different versions of this next little sequence that we're going to work with next, because I know there's quite a few if you're not going to be able to do the full positions, but then some will. So again, that's why we give lots of options. So the first position that we're going to come into is a plank. So for some of you, that'll be full plank, but at the moment, we're just all going to do a half plank. So if you get yourself, first of all, into that tabletop position, so hands below the shoulders, knees below the hips, and then I just want you to walk the hands forward so that the hips are dipping, so that you've got a straight line from your shoulders down to your knees. So a half plank position, okay? So when we're in the plank position, for some of you, this will be the position you want to be in. From there, you're going to walk the hands back into that tabletop position. And I want you to step, well, we'll start with the left foot just because that's the side I'm on. Step the left foot forward so it's beside the hand. Now, for some of you, I know that movement is quite difficult, getting your foot from back there to beside the hand. So what you can do is you can lift up, step the foot forward, put the hands back down, okay? So get into that position, and then from there, you're going to lift the left hand up and look up towards the ceiling. So we're getting that rotation, looking up, okay? Hand back down, take the knee back, and then to get back into plank, remember you're just drawing the hands forward and lowering the hips a little bit. So for some of you, that'll be the positions we want. You're going to go from plank, and then we're going to step the foot forward. So that might be from tabletop position forward. You might have to lift up and then step forward. Either way, doesn't matter. You take the hands back down, and then you try and get into that twist. Some of you might struggle with the twist. Just do what you can. So you just want to start to rotate the upper body. If you can, lift that arm all the way up so you can look up. Okay, so we're just going to try that on the other side. You'll possibly find as well that one side's easier than the other. So again, you're starting in your half plank position. Move back to tabletop. This time you're stepping the right foot forward. And then you're going to lift that right arm up and look up. So that's your twist. Okay, so hopefully you've got that. So it's from a half plank into that lunge position, but it's quite a gentle lunge because you're just stepping the foot forward. So you're in this position and your lunge. For those of you who have got a bit more flexibility, which some of you have, but I know a lot of you don't, so don't worry. You just do what you can. You're going to start in full plank, and then you're going to step that foot up to the hand. Now, remember, if you can't quite get there, you can always help it along a little bit. So you get into this position, and then you're going to move into the twist. Okay, one side, and then from the plank, stepping the right foot forward this time, lifting the arm into the rotation and release. Okay, so hopefully you've got that. So we're going to start with the left side. What we'll do is we'll do it 3 or 4 times on the same leg so that then I can turn around and do it on the opposite leg so you can see what I'm doing. Okay, so moving into your plank position, so either half or full plank, we're going to hold for a couple of breaths. And then you're going to bring your left foot forward so that it's beside your left hand. So if you need to go into tabletop and then start and raise the upper body to do that, then you do that. And we're going to come into this position. Some of you will have the knee in the floor, some of you won't. So again, we're going to hold, going to get a nice stretch through the hip, especially for those that haven't got the knee on the floor. And then inhale, move into that twist. So lift the arm, rotate the chest, lift the arm, look up. The hand back down, take the foot back, so you're going back into your plank. So for some of you, that's full plank. For some of you, it'll be half plank. If you want half plank, you just take the knees to the floor. So even if you're doing the full position in the lunge, you can still do half plank if you prefer. Again, we're going to hold and breathe. And again, step that left foot forward so that it's beside your left hand. Help it through if you need to. Again, we're going to hold and breathe. This is a really good stretch through the hip. And inhale into the rotation. Look up if you can. The hand back down. Move back into the plank. Okay, so I'm going to turn around. So we're going to do it in the opposite leg this time. So holding in your plank for a few breaths. Remember, you can do a half plank if you prefer. And then we're going to step the right foot forward this time. Doesn't matter how you get it there, but you get it into one of the versions of the lunge. And then I'm going to lift that right arm. Bring the hand back to the floor. Take the foot back and you're back in your plank position. We're going to hold and breathe. And again, right foot forward, back into the lunge position, holding in that stretch. And moving into the twist. The hand back down. Take the foot back and lower yourself onto the mat. Forearms down, and I want you to move into Sphinx pose. So a nice, gentle position. Draw the chest forward, push the shoulders back and down, look straight ahead. Your lower body's nice and relaxed. So really lengthen the spine by drawing the chest forward. Hold and breathe. And from there, take the hips to the heels, forehead to the mat, extended child's pose. Okay, so coming back up onto all fours. We're going to, our last bit of main posture work is going to be working with down facing dog again, which we've been doing different versions of over the 10-week session. We're going to do a slightly different one today for those of you who can. So for anybody who feels, we've actually been working quite hard this morning, so if you feel, I don't think down facing dogs for me this morning, work with your cat and cow postures that we did as an alternative in the last few weeks that we did. So remember, you're just moving between cow when the head and the tailbone are up, you're arching the spine down towards the mat. The exhale takes you into cat, and you can arch the spine towards the ceiling. You can hold in these positions as well. You don't have to always move with the breath. And you can just work with that this morning. It's very, very good for your spine. So you can just work with that. For those of you who are happy to do down facing dog, we're going to tuck the toes under. We're going to lift the hips. We're going to move into down facing dog. So we're just going to hold this round just in standard down facing dog. Just make sure you've got a feel. Remember, the shoulders are away from the wrists. Push the hips towards the ceiling at the same time, pushing the heels towards the mat. Hold and breathe. So nice and slowly, just bring the knees back to the mat. We're just going to have a breather. Full of nice deep breaths. And then we're going to tuck the toes under again. We're going to move back into down facing dog if you can. For those of you who want to try something a little bit different, we're going to lift the left leg up, bend the knee so the knee's at a right angle. And then I want you to lift that left hip up until you're looking under your left arm. So you're getting a twist into down facing dog. If you're not looking under your arm, it probably means that your shoulders are not far enough away from the wrists. And take the rotation back, bring the foot back towards the floor. I'm just going to turn around so that you can see it on the other side. So from down facing dog, this time we're going to lift the right leg up, bend the knee so it's at right angles, and then rotate. So you're lifting that right hip up towards the ceiling brings you into rotation, and then you can look under your right arm. And coming back out of the rotation, foot onto the mat, lift the hips and hold. And nice and slowly bring the knees back to the mat. Okay, so we're running a bit short of time this morning. So that's just a little variation on some of the down facing dog positions we've done. So we're just going to finish the class just by stretching out a little bit, just easing things off. So I want you to lie on your back, get the arms away to either side, bring the feet close to the hips, and then as you exhale, just lower the knees to the right and look to the left. Inhale back to center. Exhale, lower to the left and look to the right. I'll just keep that going with the breath for a few more breaths. And as you come back to center next time, just draw the knees into the chest, wrap the hands around the shins into your Apanasana, your hug pose. You can just gently rock from side to side. Just release any tension that's still in the lower back. And nice and slowly coming back up to sitting. I like to sit cross-legged if you can. Remember, have the legs straight out in front if you prefer. Let the knees fall away. Make sure you're on the sitting bones. You've got a nice long spine. I'm just going to bring the palms together. Namaste. Thank you for joining the class again this morning. I hope you enjoyed it. It's quite different this morning. Some quite difficult, difficult moves, but remember, you just take your time. You do what you can. You don't have to go too deep into position. And I do try to give alternatives so that everyone's got something that they can do, because I'm aware we've got lots of different abilities, lots of different ages in my class, which is wonderful. And I hope you enjoy the rest of the summer. I might try and do a class at the beginning of August if I get time, but I'll email to let you know if it's going to go ahead. And other than that, I hope to see you all in September. Okay, thank you.